The Denver Broncos are on the rise, and they might just make a huge splash in NFL free agency. Rumors are swirling that the Broncos could land Cooper Kupp. How likely is that? There are strong signals pointing to the fact that Denver has made major strides this offseason. With impressive moves already made, the Broncos are not only looking to be a playoff contender next season, but are also aiming to dominate the division. We've got a lot to unpack here, so let's dive into it. First off, none of us expected the Broncos to come out of free agency with an all-pro safety, a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker, and a tight end who can really make an impact. But here we are, and yet it feels like it's still not enough. Coach Sean Payton has made it clear that Denver is in win-now mode, and with quarterback Russell Wilson leading the way, the team is opening a Super Bowl window that could last for the next 4 years. Now, about Cooper Kupp. There's been a lot of chatter about his future, and many are debating whether his best years are behind him. While he may no longer be the Triple Crown winning receiver he once was, he could still play a crucial role. In this offense, Kupp would be the third option, a perfect fit alongside wide receiver Courtland Sutton, who is a solid WR1 without all the drama, and one of the best tight ends Denver has seen in years. Kupp's potential role as a slot receiver would be invaluable. He could serve as a mentor for younger players like Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, teaching them how to prepare for the NFL. Plus, his reliable hands would be a great asset for Wilson. Even more intriguing is the fact that discussions are happening, and reports suggest that Kupp himself would love to come to Denver. Adam Schefter recently mentioned that if given the choice, Kupp would pick the Broncos. While it's unclear if this will actually happen, just the fact that it's even a possibility speaks volumes. The fact that the Broncos are even in talks with a player like Cooper Kupp, especially considering his age, shows that coach Sean Payton believes the Super Bowl window is wide open. Denver has built a young and hungry team, and now it's time to bring in some seasoned veterans who can help push the team over the finish line. From being neck and neck with Buffalo in the playoffs to now aiming to host that game at home and win the AFC West, these are exciting times for the Broncos. The mere idea that Kupp is considering Denver is incredible news, and it shows just how much the team is improving. The Broncos' offseason moves are catching the attention of everyone, even the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain. He's shown his support for Payton's work with posts on social media, and it's clear that the excitement is building. Even rival fans are taking notice. One major content creator for the Kansas City Chiefs admitted that the Broncos are having an excellent offseason. It's rare to hear that from a rival fan base, but it's a sign that the Broncos' moves are making waves across the league. I've even been getting texts from friends who are Raiders fans, saying how impressed they are with what Denver has done. Former Broncos player Ed McCaffrey also weighed in, praising the team's performance in free agency. While there's no official scorecard for who won the offseason, it's clear that the Broncos are making a major impact. Even though we didn't land Evan Ingram, it's clear that the team is being smart with its moves. Ingram chose the Broncos over the Chargers despite the offers being similar. His decision wasn't about money, it was about the vision that Payton and Russell Wilson are creating in Denver. Ingram saw what's being built here and knew it was the right move for his career, despite the Chargers' pitch. It's incredibly exciting to see the energy surrounding the Denver Broncos right now, especially after Evan Ingram's farewell message to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He said, "It's all love, but y'all just let a dog loose," and I couldn't agree more. This offseason has been full of moves that have added some serious talent to the team, and it's going to be thrilling to watch it all come together. I've been seeing more and more highlight clips of players, particularly Ingram, and it's impressive to see what he can do on the field. I didn't watch a lot of Jacksonville games, but these clips are eye-opening. Ingram is showing off his ability to take on top corners like Sauce Gardner, who once thought he was better than Patrick Surtain. Watching Ingram create separation from a cornerback is incredible, especially when you consider that he's going up against one of the league's top defenders. If a cornerback struggles to lock him down, just imagine how much trouble a linebacker would have trying to cover him. The way Ingram creates space and makes catches is remarkable. Now picture this. If the Broncos land a player like Cooper Kupp to pair with Ingram, I honestly don't know how to describe how exciting that would be. The season's official schedule and over-under predictions aren't out yet, but there's no doubt in my mind that this team will be favored to win at least 10 games. That's the new baseline for the Broncos, and it's a level of excitement I haven't felt in years. This doesn't feel like the years when we got lucky and signed Peyton Manning. It feels like the team was built the right way. Coach Peyton has done a fantastic job of identifying talent, and it's rewarding to see it all come together. There's something special about having a homegrown quarterback lead us, and it just feels right. We didn't skip any steps, and that's why this is so exciting. Another key factor in bringing Ingram to Denver is the role of Davis Webb. Webb is still with the Broncos because the ownership group has been able to keep him on board by offering incentives. His presence has been a big part of making Denver an attractive place for free agents. Davis Webb, who is likely to become a head coach someday, played with Evan Ingram in New York. That connection has to be a huge factor in why Ingram chose to join the Denver Broncos. Then I came across something that blew my mind. According to Next Gen Stats, Evan Ingram is not only 5 years younger than Travis Kelce, but he also leads the league in receiving yards from the slot since 2023. That's incredible. Ingram is the definition of a joker in Coach Payton's offense. He can line up in the slot, on the line, or even in the backfield and still outplay defenders. He's faster, younger, and more versatile than Kelce, which only makes the future even brighter for the Broncos. What's even more exciting is that all of this is bucking the narrative that Sean Payton is a culture destroyer. I've heard people compare him to coaches like John Gruden or Josh McDaniels, but that's a completely misguided take. Payton has an undeniable ability to attract players who want to be part of what he's building. Anyone who's worked with him in New Orleans wants to play for him again, and now we're seeing that with Ingram. Even though he had offers from other teams, including the Chargers, Ingram chose Denver because he believes in what Payton and Wilson are doing here. Other players like Greenlaw and Hwanga could have stayed with the San Francisco 49ers, but they saw something special in Denver. And Cooper Kupp, according to Adam Schefter, would also prefer to be a Bronco, even with other options available. That's huge and incredibly exciting. This just further confirms that the Broncos are in win-now mode. The moves they're making show that they're not waiting for the future. They're ready to compete right now. There are players who are so good that we forget just how elite they are, like John Franklin Myers. While the Patriots are getting credit for signing Milton Williams, Franklin Myers, who doesn't even get mentioned much in the conversation, has a better pressure rate than many of the league's top defenders. Even guys like Chris Jones, who are highly regarded, aren't performing at the same level. It just goes to show that the Broncos' defense is filled with untapped potential. I truly believe that John Franklin Myers deserves to be recognized as one of the best in the league. After everything he's been through, he's definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder this season. I hope the Broncos can secure him long-term alongside Zach Allen because we may face some challenges in the future. But for now, the Broncos have one of the deepest, most playoff-ready rosters, and that's incredibly exciting. I did get a bit nervous when rumors started circulating that Matt Stafford might join Pete Carroll and the Las Vegas Raiders. The thought of facing him twice a year wasn't ideal, but then the Raiders went with a gamble on Geno Smith, and honestly, we know what happens when teams pick up quarterbacks that another team is letting go for a third-round pick. Geno Smith isn't the answer. On top of that, the Raiders organization itself is in a mess. This isn't just my opinion. It's coming from former players like Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been through it and said he didn't want to go through that kind of dysfunction again, which is why he made the choices he did in free agency. It's great to hear this, and it further solidifies that the Raiders will remain a tough challenge, but not as much of a threat as some think. Plus, hearing Josh Jacobs echo similar frustrations shows just how troubled the Raiders organization is. That's 2 games this season where the Broncos don't have to worry as much. One more exciting piece of news. The Broncos will be playing the Colts this year in an away game, and there's a chance that game could be played internationally in Germany. I didn't even think about this, but apparently the Broncos actually petitioned the league for an international game, just like last year. They wanted that back-to-back road trip for team bonding, and we saw how that helped last year. Coach Payton created a college-like atmosphere that brought the team together. Players talked about how that 2-game road trip on the East Coast helped them build such strong bonds. So I'm thrilled about this potential game in Germany because it takes away the Colts' home field advantage at Lucas Oil Stadium and turns it into a neutral site. This could be a great opportunity for the Broncos to strengthen their team chemistry and grow closer as a unit. Finally, I just want to say a personal thanks to the Broncos for the amazing steak dinner I had last night. I made a bet with my friend who's a diehard Bears fan at the start of last season. The bet was simple. I would take him to a steak dinner if the Broncos had a worse record than the Bears. After the Broncos started 0-2, he offered to let me off the hook and just go grab fast food. But I stuck to my guns and trusted in the Broncos, and it wasn't even close by the end of the season. I ended up enjoying a $70 steak last night, wearing my Broncos shirt and hat in a steakhouse, feeling a bit underdressed, but it was totally worth it. Thank you, Broncos, for giving us all something to believe in.